Good now.
Nice.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Sports Talk with Eddie, presented by Our Time Press. And you guys know I had to come out with the uniform today. I had to come out with the sweatsuit today. I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody, no Met fans, nothing like that. But man, oh man, how the winds of change have transpired within the past week. In baseball, the wild card standings in both leagues are hotter than a fox in a forest fire, man. It is a good time to be alive if you are a New York sports fan. Maybe not for football, but that's another situation entirely. But man, it has been a hell of a week. I was fortunate to be able to go to the Yankee game this past Tuesday, the same night that they clinched against the Chicago White Sox, and probably one of the most exciting games that I've been to. Being down 2-1 and Jose Caballero being the hero after the wild pitch, the at bat before to Cody Bellinger. Shout out to Cody Bellinger and Jose Caballero to have those tough at bats and to be able to come out and prevail with the 3-2 victory. Nevertheless, getting granting the Yankees their 60th postseason appearance historically. It was definitely a great night. I think my fiance who went with me saw a different side of me, but listen, I can't help it. If you guys, there's one thing to cheer as a fan and watch it at home, but just from a fun standpoint, and just if you want to do like a date night or things of that nature, or just to, you know, sharpening up your knowledge of baseball, the best way to do it, I mean, aside from reading statistics and things like that, is to actually go and enjoy a baseball game, whether it's in Yankee Stadium or City Field. I'm telling you, there is nothing like it. Date night or whatever it is, it is nothing like going to an actual sporting event in New York and to have that crowd. You just feed off of that crowd and that noise and that intensity and that excitement. I'm telling you, bar none, there's nothing like it. We got a lot to go over this week. Um, Definitely, obviously, Yankees, Mets. The New York Giants have a new quarterback. He's gonna make his debut this Sunday, so that's something. Hopefully, it's something that is exciting for Giants fans to look at. Um, we'll see what happens when they head to when they face against the Chargers this coming Sunday. But obviously, we have to talk about that. Obviously, the AL MVP race between Aaron Judge and Kyle Riley, is it close? Is it a foregone conclusion as far as who's going to win it? That's still to be determined. Obviously, with 4 games left on the season. But before we get into all of that, it's only my right, considering the fact that this story hit home to me. So I want to just embrace knowledge for for the women and men out there, especially the men in this sort of situation. A couple of days ago, it was reported that former Cincinnati Bengals running back Rudy Johnson passed away. Police have reported that it appears to be uh, suicide, that Rudy Johnson indeed has taken his life. And according to his family, Rudy Johnson within the past couple of years struggled with mental health and perhaps CTE. Um, it's very sad when you hear certain things like that, especially when it comes to mental health. First 2 seasons, he obviously sat for the most part because at that time Corey Dillon was the Cincinnati Bengals running back. Corey Dillon, got injured that third season, and that third season Rudy Johnson came of his own. He rushed for his 957 yards, scored 9 touchdowns, and just 215 attempts in 2003. Eventually, Corey Dillon was traded in the offseason, which paved the way for Johnson to get more reps to start in 2004. He went on that year to deliver 3 straight fantastic seasons from 2004 to 2006, where he pretty much averaged 1,400 yards and 12 touchdowns. He made his first and only Pro Bowl appearance in 2004. That season, he rushed for 1,454 yards, which is a franchise record. He eventually broke that single season franchise record the season before when he rushed for 1,458 yards, which that record is still stands. Now, I want to get into the deeper aspect about this situation. Listen, as men in particular, and I know I don't want to single out anybody, men, women, children, but for men in particular, we're always taught to be the provider, the protector, and those are things that I try to live by myself in my everyday life with my personal family and my significant other and whatnot. You know, but there are times where you know it's okay to be human. Again, as men, we're always taught to be this way and to have this certain demeanor, and we got to be the Superman. But there are times, especially things with how life is constructed for us, where life kicks you in the ass, man. But whether we try to improve it within ourselves is one thing, but it doesn't make you less of a man to go out there and ask for help. And I think that's just been a knock on us because the way us as men are alluded to just be the Superman, be the tough guy, and try to weather the storm. I'm here to tell you, everybody that's tuning in right now, it does not make you any less of a man to ask for help. Doesn't have to be professionally. It could be somebody that you pretty much trust. It could be your mom, your dad, a brother, a significant other, a close cousin, or whatnot. But if you feel something's wrong, they have the saying that goes on, in the train station and the police. If you say, if you see something, say something. The same thing applies as far as how we feel, both men and women. If you feel something, you feel like something's off, you're going through a rough patch in life, whether it's at work, whether it's in your personal life, please, I cannot stress this enough, guys. Go and ask for help. It could save your life, or it could save another by just taking time and listening to people or any other individual who has taken the initiative to go and ask for your help in particular, or just have the courage to ask for help in particular. I myself personally, and even to this day, and it's not easy to talk about, but I I'm a big believer that sometimes in life you have to have those situations where certain situations you have to be uncomfortable. I've always told people, especially in relationships in general, you know, it's good to be happy. It's good to display love. It's good to be honest. But I also think that it's important to be able to initiate and have those uncomfortable scenarios that happen in any type of relationship. So again, it's not. It's okay to reach out. It's okay to have someone be your Superman. Me, like I said, I myself have dealt with personal issues and stuff like that. I think we all at one time dealt with something, difficult, especially during COVID and whatnot. And just reading this story, I mean, obviously I heard about it when it happened. Breaking news when it came into ESPN, and from what I've heard, he was a wonderful guy, wonderful individual, and you hate to see things like that. The Aaron Hernandez situation was a sad story. Seeing the documentary was even sad. But hearing about this Rudy Johnson thing and hearing that it was pertaining to his mental health is very saddening. Because you want to be able, it's hard because again, us as men, we like to shelter a lot of things. We like to just say, hey, well, I gotta be the macho and I gotta, sort this out myself because everybody else probably has their own problems and whatnot. I'm not gonna bother them. But listen, you don't. I feel like this in every friendship or any relationship, or especially the people you consider your circle. If they're willing to take the time to listen to you, whether it's 5 minutes or 55 minutes, those are the people that you want to keep around you. That's how you separate the real ones from the fabricated ones, in my opinion. So again, whoever's watching this right now, or if you guys happen to tune into this later, if you're having to go through something, I feel for you. Just know that you're cared for, you're loved, even if you don't feel that right then and there. You're cared for, you're loved. There's somebody out there that appreciates you so much. And guess what? If you haven't heard that from a while, if you haven't heard that in some time, I'm here to tell you guys I appreciate you because you're taking the initiative of taking time out of your busy schedule to tune in every Thursday and watch this show. For those who know me personally, knows that this is a big project for me. It means something, and I try my best to put my heart into it and to give you guys the best show I can possible. This is a project that I've been working on for many years, something I wanted to do. So the fact that you guys are tuning in and listening to this show, I greatly appreciate it. But I really just wanted to take time and just let you guys know that both men and women, it's okay to be human, it's okay to be uncomfortable, and most importantly, it's okay to ask for help. There's just too many people that you know as a community, we're just taking too many L's hearing about this. Too many losses about you know people just feeling like that's their own option. That's their only option. And again, everybody's situation is different. It's so easy for me to get on here and tell you, hey, well, do this, do that. We all battle our own demons every day. But you know, if it takes one person to just be like, hey, man, you're loved, you're respected, you're valued. You know, um, maybe that goes a long way. You don't necessarily know how you impact a person unless you take the form of action to just let that person know, hey, man, are you okay? Is everything all right? How you feeling? How was your day today? Certain certain small aspects like that we may take for granted could pretty much make somebody's day. Again, it's so easy, behind the public eye to just really just look at somebody and just say, hey, because they approach me this way, they seem all right. It seems like life's going good for them. But outside of being in front of a camera or outside of your job, we don't know what goes on in everybody's personal life. We don't know the battles that they fight continuously, whether it's something that they're dealing with within themselves or a heartache that they're going through in their personal life involving somebody that they care about. you know so I think us, collectively, men and women, us as a community, let's take, you know I always told, every year in my house we have a big Thanksgiving dinner. I have some cousins that come over and stuff like that, and we really just sit down and chat. And we always have like a family speaker. Last year I was a family speaker, and the one thing that I said was, listen, man, let's not make it a habit of just celebrating and being with each other on Thanksgiving or on funerals. Obviously, everybody has their own family, kids, and stuff like that. I get that. But the one thing that I did say, and I think that it created some value within the family table, is listen, we don't know if this family table is going to be the same way it is last year. You know, we just don't know. Tomorrow's not promised. So again, just very sad news to hear about Rudy Johnson. So on behalf of myself and everybody here at Our Time Press, we want to send our deepest condolence to the Johnson family. And We want me personally. I just want to tell everybody that's tuning in, that's happen to go through something. Hopefully, this show, you know, brings you some clarity and takes your mind off of you know the heartaches that life can bring you. Life is tough, man. It's not easy peasy as other people make it appear to be. We go through our ups and downs and certain discrepancies that we have in life, but the most important thing that I could say during this podcast is that, hey, man, you guys are loved. You guys are not alone. If you feel like you're not right, whether it's physically or mentally, please go see a doctor. Please reach out for help. It could save your life. It could save another life. So, just want to get that out the way, and just send my condolences to the Johnson family, and just let everybody else know out there that, hey, man, you guys are loved, and you know storms, they come and go. They're not gonna last forever. It's all about how you adapt to it, the power and energy and dedication that you put within yourself to try to get better and to make better of yourself. And I think that's the best way I can put it. You know. So with that said, we're gonna shift gears and we're gonna talk about football. So the New York Giants made some noise as far as their quarterback change. And if you guys hadn't tuned in, I want to say it was last week or the week before. Sometimes you get caught up as far as just being in the camera and talking so damn much. I don't know which episode that I said it in, but I predicted that if Russell Wilson continues the struggles, that it would not surprise me if the Giants organization turns and make the switch at quarterback to Jackson Dart. And I think the cherry on top was pretty much the performance that Russell Wilson had this past Sunday night against the Kansas City Chiefs. There was a moment during the game where you heard the crowds pretty much saying, "We want Dart, we want Dart." Um, and it's tough because you see Russell Wilson, and for those, listen, it was Aaron Rodgers, it was Russell Wilson. Obviously, you have Ben Roethlisberger. Just throwing out a couple of quarterbacks out there that we had the pleasure of watching and just appreciating their craft of work. Obviously, the best football that we saw from Russell Wilson was during his Seattle days. I think it's fair to say that he is that same type of player. He doesn't appear to be that, at least even from his 1 year at Pittsburgh. Obviously, you know his Pittsburgh years, his Seattle years, they're beyond over with. But it's so sad to see a quarterback who is on the upper echelon, and you can see clearly Russell Wilson has lost a step. Is he a quarter? Is he? The question is he a starting quarterback right now? I don't know, man. I don't know, and that's really hard for me to say because again, I've loved Russell Wilson's work, especially in his Seattle days and stuff like that. This is a guy, in my opinion, when it's all said and done, why wouldn't he be considered a first ballot Hall of Famer? Um, I believe he is, uh, and if he's not, maybe he doesn't go first ballot. But in my opinion, he is definitely a Hall of Fame quarterback. So it's just it's just sad where you see the situation brewing in New York, and again, this is not a situation where it's Seattle or Chicago or Pittsburgh. This is New York City, and we all know the New York fan base how impatient they can be, and it's like nowadays it's like, listen, we can give a damn about the name. We can give a damn about the name. New York football has been craving a winner for over a decade. Over a damn decade. The Giants have been to the playoffs what? Twice the past decade? Most recent being the 2022 season, if I'm not mistaken. Quote me if I'm wrong. But we need a winner. And did this happen earlier than I thought? Yeah. I felt if the Giants started the season 0-4, then they will make the switch. Me personally, I would have made the switch next week as they played the Saints, because I felt like the Saints, as far as defense, they're not as talented as they are, say, the San Diego Chargers, which will be the first live action that Jackson Dart will get this coming Sunday. So, with that, we're gonna hit the phone calls. We got a phone call coming in. So, good afternoon. This is Sports Talk with Eddie. What's going on?
What's going on? This is Will. How's it going, cuz?
Hey, Will, how's it going, man?
Good, good, good. Good to be on the show. Thanks for
Thank you. I appreciate you
taking my
calling.
call. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I like to talk about a couple of things.
Sure. What's on
I
your
got
mind?
I got a couple of topics here
Oh boy.
that I think are very important for New York sports. First of all, the Knicks' new coach. Is he going to be able to take us to the promised land this year? You know, the Knicks, they went very far last season. They had a very good season, very good playoff run, and people were just shocked that after that playoff run, they fired their coach. Do you think it was a good move? And do you think this new coach is going to take them over the hill? And what are your thoughts?
Well, that was a very good question. I answered this, I want to say, a couple of weeks ago on my podcast. So I'm going to ask you a question with a question.
Yeah.
Do you think you're a Knicks fan, right? How long you been a Knicks fan?
You know, I don't even know if I consider myself a Knicks fan. I'm more of a Nets fan. I want the Knicks to do well. I tried being a Knicks fan when Allen Houston was on the team. And then I
Nice.
remember he got hurt. And then after that, I feel like the Knicks were struggling for a long time. And I was one of those fans that I'll be honest, I kind of just gave up hope. And I was always a Nets fan because of Jason Kidd back in the day. So the Nets have always been my team, but I don't hate on the Knicks. I want them to do well.
I hear you. So here's my input on this. I came on this show, and I'll be honest with you, I was pretty pissed off when they fired Thibodeau, because I felt like, the resume speaks for itself as far as what he did, and to take this franchise, which was pretty much a laughing stock in New York for many many years. You can allude to that. I'm pretty sure, watching New York basketball.
It was terrible. It was
Yeah,
terrible.
it was bad. It was
Yeah.
horrible.
It used to piss me off because I don't think they represented New York.
Yeah,
I
right.
feel
I
like
can I can definitely agree with
back
that.
when they were making horrible moves, horrible trades, I feel like New York deserved better.
Right. So when it first happened, again, I was upset about it. I didn't understand it. I started pretty much programming certain names in my head that could probably be his successor. But I'm like, you know what? For a guy that was just a series away from taking you to the NBA Finals for the first time in 25 years, I mean, what coach out there can pretty much top what Thibodeau did? Now,
Right, right.
a couple of months later, I can simmer down a little bit and calm down and say, listen, Mike Brown may not be the sexiest name out there as far
Yeah.
as who the Knicks can go there, but he's not a bad coach.
He's not a bad coach.
He's not a
And
bad coach.
correct me
He's a
if I'm wrong.
four-time.
He was a Knicks fan. He was a Knicks coach before,
Yeah.
right?
No, no. I mean, I think he was maybe an assistant back in the day. I'm not sure. I gotta look that up. But this is a guy who is a winning coach. I believe he won. I believe he was on that roster for 4 years when the Golden State Warriors won those championships as an assistant. We all
Okay,
know the
okay.
work that he did with Cleveland. More recently, the job that he did in Sacramento until he got departed. So this is a guy that he has the capability of a winning culture. He's not afraid to help players accountable, which I think is needed, especially for the way this Knicks team is constructed. I do
Uh-huh.
like the pieces that they brought in with Yabusele from Philadelphia. Jordan Clarkson has been one of the best bench scorers in the NBA for many, many years to come. And,
Yep.
they locked up Bridges, who also took a pay cut. That shows you his
Okay.
dedication
Yeah.
as far as being with the Knicks fans. But to answer your question full circle, they got no damn choice. you know, and I say this, I'm not saying that it's going to be an easier path for them to get to
Mm-hmm.
the finals because you
Mm-hmm.
got to look at Atlanta's roster. Atlanta got better.
Okay.
Orlando got better. I still think Indiana, despite the loss of Tyrese Halliburton, is still going to be in the conversation. We'll see what happens with Boston because they lost they lost Jason Tatum for the year. It looks like it's going to be the year with the Achilles injury. But
Right.
and then, Detroit is going to be a sleeper. I'm telling you, if this one series that I thought the Knicks looked a little bit shaky or a team gave them a run for their money, aside from the Pacers, was the
Mm-hmm.
Detroit Pistons. And they made some
Right.
pretty good moves during the offseason, too. So, aside
Yeah.
from these teams uh, growing and whatnot, this is the best pathway that the Knicks have to make the finals. I do
Okay.
think that Mike Brown. I mean, if you really look at it, Boston's gonna be out with their top tier player. You know,
Mm-hmm.
again, Indiana's gonna be without their top tier player. So, and if
Mm-hmm.
you're really looking at the East in its entirety, those are the two teams that people are gonna be talking about. So,
Right.
to
Right.
me, there's no reason, health permitting, there's no reason why this New York's team with the roster that they have now and I can't forget Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon is a solid backup piece to Jalen Brunson, and I'm pretty sure he's going to play a pivotal role in the Knicks' backup roles. It's definitely an upgrade to Cameron Payne, in my opinion. So,
I agree.
um, again, health permitting, I don't see why this Knicks roster, the way it's constructed right now, can't at least compete for NBA Finals this year.
I give Thibodeau a lot of respect. He changed the Knicks culture, but as the playoffs progressed, as the season went on, and as I started watching more Knicks games, at the end of the day, I see why they got rid of him because he did not know how to use his bench. I mean, these players were exhausted in the playoffs. That series against Boston, that series against Indiana, he just was not using the rest of his guys. And he actually had a pretty good bench. When some of these guys would come in the game, they would contribute a lot. And I would be like, wait, where have these guys been the whole
A
series?
perfect example. There was some parts during the games where you saw Precious Achua
Yeah,
having some moments. Landry
right.
Shamet made some big shots,
He was
and
big. And I'm
yeah,
like, they should have brought him in earlier.
e-
I'm like, where was the guy?
exactly. And he tried he tried to make that change, but to me, it was too little, too late in the season where he decided to have Hart come on the bench in favor for
Yep.
size.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't the size that was bothering the Knicks, in my opinion. It was the pace of the Pacers, no pun intended, that
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
that,
But
that really
you
overwhelmed the
can't have a
Knicks.
whole series with playing seven guys,
It
and then
was
you got some good players on the bench
yeah,
not doing anything. You're
yeah,
not
and
gonna win
meanwhile
like
you
that.
had the
People are
Pacers
gonna get
running
exhausted.
a 8 to 10 man rotation. So I mean, there you go. So
Right.
from that aspect, that's when I'm like, okay, that's when I simmer down. I'm like, okay, I can at least be okay with them,
Mm-hmm.
with them letting go of Thibodeau because it could be a situation where, yeah, he's a good coach. He brought us to the promised land. He did what he
Right.
did during his tenure, but is this as far as we can go with him, as far as his energy and his culture and his voice in the
Uh-huh.
locker room?
I think that's as far as we're gonna go with him. I mean, I feel like Cat got his knees were injured a couple of times during that last series, and they kept putting him out there, and that could have really jeopardized his career. Instead of giving him a breather, instead of like finding a way to find another rotation to give him a little rest, he kept putting Cat out there, and I was like, this is really dangerous. He could
Right.
really go something out. So when I saw that, and then I heard that Bridges in some interview was saying that the guys need some rest. And Bridges, he's like an Iron Man. This guy doesn't miss games,
Right.
and he's willing to play a lot of minutes. And when he made that comment, I was like, nah, this is not good.
Yeah.
This is not good. So I think Woods, I think he's a good coach. And the way the East is right now, I feel like we're still going to go a long way. Boston's not going to be the same. Of course, the Pacers are not going to be the same. Cleveland, I always have no faith in them because even though they have a good season, they always kind of flame out in the playoffs. But my only really concern in the playoffs in terms of the East would be Detroit. They're a tough team,
Yes, they
but
are.
in terms of the East, I feel like the Knicks got a shot.
Right.
They got a shot.
Oh yeah, I'm right there with you, man.
Yep, yep.
Listen, Will, thank you for calling, man. I appreciate
You
you.
got it.
All right.
Thanks for having me on the show.
No
Take
problem.
care. Bye bye.
Yeah. So basically, with the Knicks, Will, it's the coaching thing. We got to see how this come into fruition. I was on the podcast about 2 months ago, and I was saying I was mad. I pretty much went on a rant on the Knicks organization. I didn't know what the hell World Wide West was doing. I didn't know what Dolan was doing. It just didn't make sense. But it's one of the, you ever have an argument with your significant other and you're like, you know, you guys are talking, but you get into this predicament where you're not looking at the essence of why you guys are arguing until you sit down, maybe after a meal, and you're like, okay, I get that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of like the situation I had as far as the next coaching move. We got another call coming in. Hey, what's going on? You're in Sports Talk.
Castro, what's going on, brother? How you doing today?
Hey, man, what's going on?
You can't call it. Man, look, I want to talk about one thing and one thing only. What is Jets
Oh,
coming out of this week, 1-3? Are they coming out against the Dolphins 1-3? Because it's not looking good down there, man.
you know, I should feel some type of way because I know, you know, back in your day, from the last time we talked, you were waving your Patriots flag. Now you're seeing, now you want to go and come to this side, you know.
The Patriots flag got put down and
Oh, okay. All right now, all right now. So what flag? What flag are we raising this year? What flag are we raising this year?
Man, I've been waving the Jets flag for years, man. I've
My
always been
man.
a secondary Jets fan, man. I've always been a secondary Jets fan. I can't stand them blue Giants. I don't want them to prosper. I'm pro New
Right.
York, except the Giants. I'm pro New York, every team
There you go.
except the Giants.
Um, man, I was hoping I didn't get a call about the Jets, but here we are. You know, you know, I'm just so damn tired of hearing, you know, the one thing, and this is, goes with New York coaches in general. Whenever they seem to lose, this is the one line that I always hear. It's right in front of us. It's right in front of us. What's right in front of you? Another loss? I just can't. It really, really gets under my skin, and there's a very rare. There's certain things that get under my skin, but once I hear that one damn comment that always seems to come from New York coaches, I just lose it. Um, I don't know what's going. Obviously, you know, put it in Tyrod Taylor. You know, he's been a decent quarterback for the most part, but you know, this offense was pretty much constructed around Justin Fields,
Well, what's
and
going on with Phil? Have he been cleared yet?
so today he went, according to reports, uh, he was a full participant in practice today, after undergoing all the tests that he did in the coat and the concussion protocol. So when you see things like that, normally that particular player is on tap. In this situation, he'll have an extra day of rest because that game will be on Monday Night Football. If they can't win this game, I don't know what the hell to think, because the Dolphins have been a crap show just as much as the Jets did. You know, it's kind of like these two teams. It's kind of like, who's the best losing team? You
You
know,
know, that's the typical AFC East. AFC East for years have always just had one dominant team, and the other three teams have been crappy. It was like that when the Patriots were running the division. Then the division went up for grabs. You know, the Jets were looking good at one point, and then Buffalo just came out of nowhere with Josh Allen and took it by storm, and they've been running it ever since. So the AFC East is always just for grabs, and then it's just like one team dominates it for years to come, and then it's up for grabs again. So I don't know what to expect out of the AFC East, man, but I do know that with the money that we put into this offensive coordinator, something we need to produce something.
listen, I feel you, man. I feel you. I think the one downfall that, you know, I can attest to is this defense was supposed to be a top 10 defense. I mean, you got some dogs in that defensive, especially the
Yeah.
line. You got Jermaine Johnson, Pro Bowler, and Quinton Williams. Unfortunately, we lost Quincy for a good chunk of the season, so that's going to be a big change and a big loss to that defense. Will McDonald is, in my opinion, going to come into his own, and obviously, if you're talking about the secondary, it all starts with Sauce Gardner. So
With Sauce Gardner,
for this team to pull out their first win under the Aaron Glenn era, it starts with the defense, in my opinion, because we still don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be. The Jets haven't officially announced that Justin Fields will indeed return from the concussion. It could very well be Tyrod Taylor. I mean, at this point, it could be me and you. I don't know. Something's got to give, and you're a lot more pleasant than me because I stopped calling the AFC East a long time ago. I call it the AFC least because you can at least expect three teams to be bad except for one, which is the
like I
Patriots.
just
So
said, it's always just like that. There's never any competition. It's always just one dominant team, and then the other teams just slot shows at this point.
yeah, so I don't know what to make of it. I do think they have the tools to pull out the win. We'll see what this team does on offense. They did show some sparks of being able to move around the ball with Justin Fields starting. Now, I think they scored 32 points in that contest against the Steelers. So the most important thing, as far as on offense, we obviously went on the defense. And before the season started, this was supposed to be a team that was going to be very heavily reliant on the ground and pound. So they got two studs and Braylon Allen and Brees Hall, or
And
as I like to
Brees,
call him, Brees
yeah,
the
Brees
Beast.
Hall is my guy.
So you gotta for starters, you gotta execute that running game. Dolphins are one of the worst teams as far as defending the run. So you would think like Jim Carrey said in that movie, so you're saying there's a chance. Something's got to give when it comes to the running game, and then obviously, you know, if you have a quarterback that's really good in the pocket, I'm just theoretically speaking, and just throwing it in the air, assuming that Justin Fields will be the starter this year. Obviously, you got to find touches for Gary Wilson. We'll see if Alan Lazard is going to be that number two option. But other than that, aside from Gary Wilson, who's going to receive a lot of doubles, and you're ultimately taking that equation as far as how the Jets move on offense, you got to find a way to give him the ball. But to me, if the Jets are going to prevail in this Monday Night Football contest, it all starts with the defense.
I agree. I can agree with that. I think it's a mixture of both, but definitely the defense. The defense has to step up and be consistent. Um, with that being said, with that being said, they go hand in hand. Football is truly a team sport. Our defense can get on there and do their job, but if the offense isn't putting up points, then hey, what the hell are we doing here, guys? So I'm looking forward to watching them on Monday night, definitely, because I definitely want us to come out of this 0-3 hole. That is not a good way to start, and
It's definitely not, and I'm telling you, I've endured. I'm pretty sure us as football fans, we've endured a lot of heartbreaks when it comes to football, but I've never seen it this bad, this fast. Both teams are combined 0-6. Both teams have just been abysmal. But obviously, I'm a lifelong Jet fan, so I'm hoping. Listen, again, not, we're pulling hairs at this point. Coming into this season, it's hard to say, hey, I'm not one of those you know, fans that are just delusional. It's like, yeah, we're gonna go to the playoffs. Did I think, with the distractions that Buffalo was dealing with the Josh Allen, can they get over the hump and stuff like that? We all seen the controversy that's going on with the Tyreek Hill. Is he in the trading block? Is he not? Um, and then you had New England. How are they gonna look like? So I honestly thought with those distractions and those what ifs, if the Jets play if the Jets played the way their roster is constructed, maybe, just maybe they'll make a little bit of noise. Maybe I got a little bit out of hand as far as the wild card, but
Well, I'm gonna say this: nobody anticipated Justin Fields getting hurt early on in the season, because I will be the one to say we played a hell of a game against the Steelers. I like the way we looked against the Steelers, even though we lost. I still like the way we looked against the Steelers.
listen,
It was a rough, it was a rough start, but I like the way we look. Aaron Rodgers can go to hell. He's playing like he's back in Green Bay now. I think he's the Jets.
oh yeah, all of a sudden he is. Yeah, all of a sudden the big time arm is there, the legs is there, and he just decided to turn the clock back to 2005. Whatever, man. I just, but again, it all has to do. Listen, I don't care who you are. You can be Joe Namath, you can be Tom Brady. If you don't have an offensive line, you're gonna get your ass kicked every week. And I think, as questionable as Pittsburgh Steelers defense has been, the offense has sort of kept it together. Hence, why you've seen the performance from Aaron Rodgers thus far. But that's beside the point. The fact of the matter is, the Jets got to get their heads out of you know what and start playing good football, especially with the defense that they got at on their roster. So I just give me a win. Just give me a win. I'm tired of looking at the tabloids. I'm tired of seeing the same old. I'm really tired of people saying that. I just
Keeping it in true New York fashion. How do you feel about? Nah, I can't stand it. But how do you feel about the Giants benching Russell Wilson?
Before the first call came in, I was alluding to that. So again, we all have our respective teams that we cheer for, our favorite players that we cheer for. Obviously, when you look at football in its entirety, there's always names that stood out. I can think of a few names off the head. Obviously, Calvin Johnson in his heyday, Megatron just dominating. Ben Roethlisberger, the career that he had in Pittsburgh. Russell Wilson in his Seattle days. This is not the same Russell Wilson in Seattle. And I think for the most part, half of the Giants fans were so delusional, like, hey, well, we got Russell Wilson, man. Maybe he'll take us to the promised land. You guys are 0-3. And the decision makings that he has made is just let's go. My 7-year-old niece could probably throw a 7-yard route. I don't know what I'm seeing. And the other side of me is I feel a little bad because, it's kind of like, I hate to compare this, and please, I'm not comparing the two. It's like Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter was at his heyday. I'm telling you, he was the best thing to see since he was, man, this was hot cakes. This was the hottest thing since sliced bread. Just seeing how silky smooth he was at shortstop, getting ground balls, throwing the jump pass to first base. This was must-see TV. And towards the end of his tenure, I mean, he wasn't that bad, but you could see the crumbles on where he has lost a step or two. And I think exactly. And I think, but here's the thing: Derek Jeter knew when his time was because he announced his retirement before that 2014 season. I think for certain individuals, it's just hard to let go. I don't know if Russell Wilson falls in that category, but clearly he's not as sharp as he was. He's not as mobile as he was back. He hasn't been mobile since his Seattle days, if you really ask me. So
since that last year in Seattle,
I kind of felt if you really saw the podcast from last week. I think I said it last week. I gotta look over because I do these things so much and I talk so much crap. I just sort of forget what I say and when I said it. But I predicted that if this does not get any better, two things is gonna happen. They're gonna get rid of Brian Dable, and they're gonna make the change at quarterback. Now, my prediction was they were going to do it week 5 against New Orleans because New Orleans defense is not as sharp or talented as the Chargers is. The Chargers defense coming into this game is ranked number 5 in total defense. So, I can understand where fans are coming and saying, we want Dart, we want Dart. The Giants' issue is not just the quarterback. Again, this is like splitting, apples and oranges. You got to be able to have somebody protect you. Now, what I don't want is a situation where, he looks good the first drive and then he's getting his ass kicked the entire game because, you got someone like Joey Bosa breathing down your neck. So I think for the Giants, they had to make this move because it just wasn't going to get better with Russell Wilson. If you saw any parts of that game in Kansas City, that was pretty much sealed the deal as far as what I saw.
So how do you feel about Mike Hooper? I'm sorry.
Who?
The Giants offensive coordinator.
Exactly what I said. Who? Come on, man. Listen, you got to be able to construct a better play calling. And again, it's so easy to just throw this on Wilson and stuff like that. The play calling has been just as bad. But again, unfortunately, when it comes to certain sports, there's going to be two people that be blamed in certain sports. Whoever's conducting the offense and whoever's coaching the damn team. In this case, for the past 3 weeks, we're looking at Russell Wilson and Brian Daboll. I don't know what the hell Brian Daboll is doing, but it has to get better. Honestly speaking, these 2 weeks. Yeah, of course. Of course. I honestly feel that Brian Daboll and Kafka, they're in a room together and they're having dinner and they're in the background they're playing Tony Braxton's Unbreak My Heart because they know the next 2 weeks their job is probably going on the line. It's probably going to be on the line. And it's kind of surreal that you're pretty much being reliant on a 22-year-old kid who hasn't played a snap at the pro level to determine that. So we'll ultimately see what that comes about as far as how this offense is going to look under Jackson Dart. I do believe that this team.
Because I don't want to hear that the offensive pieces are not there. They got great receiving core. They got Malik and
Neighbors.
Wendell Robinson.
Yeah.
And then they got that kid that went undrafted out of that running back, Cam Scatterbo. That boy is bad.
Oh, that's a bad boy right there. He is definitely a bad boy. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So again, hopefully you make a move like this early in the season. You want two things. You want to see whether this ignites a team. This ultimately gives a team a spark. Having a quarterback. I mean, listen, he had a hell of a preseason, but me and you both know preseason is preseason. This is the big dance right now. This is when it counts. So we'll see what happens. And again, we're paying attention to the offense, but again, same thing with the Jets. This defense is really good. In my opinion, this Giants defense is top five easy in football. You got Brian Burns there. You got you got Sexy Dexy there, Dexter Lawrence there. You got this other linebacker from Baylor. I can't think of his name right now. Kayvon Thibodeau. So this is a Giants team that, when it's all said and done, could be in the conversation as far as top 10 defense in the league. So, unfortunately, right now this is not coming to fruition. I think if we were to switch gears back to the offensive line, it should get better because the anchor of that offensive line is Andrew Thomas. So I think that's going to pay dividends to Jackson Dart being able to get some time in the pocket as far as being able to throw the damn ball, because it looked like Russell Wilson was running for his damn life these past 3 weeks. Josh, brother, I appreciate your call, man.
No problem, Castro. Good talking to you, man.
All right, thank you. These teams is horrible. This is the worst football in New York that I've seen in so long. Maybe I'm just a prideful New Yorker. But when you wear something like this, when you wear that New York Giant helmet, when you wear that Jets helmet, when you wear any sort of New York memorabilia, Knicks, Rangers, Islanders, you can even say the soccer team. You got to show up to play, man. you gotta show up to play, especially with this fan base where it's like, well, you know what? It's not what you did back then for me. It's what the hell you've done for me lately. And I think this is a perfect indication of why the Giants went and make this move in favor for Jackson Dart. I hope the kid is good. He's got a tremendous upside. You know, as far as where we've seen in preseason, he can make certain throws that it seems difficult for Russell Wilson to make at this point in his career. And this is not a rough. I don't want to, beat a man while he's down. Again, Russell Wilson was one of my favorite quarterbacks watching, especially in his Seattle days. But it just wasn't the answer right now. And I think the organization felt it. I think General Manager Joe Sheen felt it. I think the owner John Mara felt it. And most importantly, I think Brian Dable felt it. But again, the Giants are going to welcome in the San Diego Chargers. That game is going to be at Sunday, 1 o'clock start. And listen, the Giants fans called for it on Sunday Night Football. They were down getting their behinds kicked by the Kansas City Chiefs. I even think that there were some Kansas City Chiefs that were in New York that were action for Jackson Dart. So ultimately, we're going to see what comes out of this team. And hopefully, the change in quarterback ignites this team, both offensively and defensively. I know Malik Neighbors is looking to get some touches. As the last caller Josh said, you got this Wendell Robinson guy who seems pretty good. He sort of gives me Victor Cruz vibes. I don't want to get too far in saying that, but that's what I've seen in the bits and parts that I've seen his performance at. So again, this Giants defense is good enough to win ball games, but they just haven't gotten it done this fall. So that's going to close out the football season. We're going to talk about baseball. Wild card series is being hot right now. Hold on, we got another caller. Hey, good afternoon. This is Sports Talk with Eddie. What's going on?
What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
Chilling, man. You know what this is, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Chilling, man. Yo, man, just want to come here and show love to the show, man.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
It's your boy Billy Dope back here. Already know
Yes,
that.
sir.
I'm live right now with Eddie Lee. Eddie Castro. You know what I'm saying? We in the building. What's going on, Eddie?
Not much, man. Listen, you're a Knicks fan, right?
Not really.
Oh man, these guys are just turning over on me.
I'm not really a Knicks fan, but I'm happy that they're doing better than before.
Okay, now, as far as the basketball in its entirety,
Right.
as far as New York, what are you looking at? Normally, people come and ask me questions, but I'm going to flip it around now and ask you a question. The firing of Tom Thibodeau and the acquisition of Mike Brown, how do you feel about that?
I think that was corny. I think they should have never fired Thibodeau.
Okay.
I think Thibodeau did a very good job during the season. He made some questionable mistakes in the playoffs, but at least he did, at least they made it that far in the playoffs.
Right.
But I think the Knicks kind of jumped the gun. I think they should have been a little bit more patient with Thibodeau. I think he was a good fit. But like I said, I think they made the decision kind of prematurely based on his mistakes that he made in the playoffs.
I can agree with that.
Subbing in, it was times that he kept Brunson in a little bit too long, and Brunson was kind of little too much with the dribbles and holding the ball a little too long. There was times where he just didn't know when to sub in certain players at the right time. But like I said, those were mistakes that happened in the playoffs, which playoffs means more than anything. But at the same time, I think if they would have kept them, they could have probably rectified that problem, and they could have been in a better place next playoffs.
Does Mike Brown make the Knicks better?
Does Mike Brown make the Knicks better? Mike Brown is a decent coach. He's a decent coach, but I can't say offhand that he's going to make the Knicks better. He will have to show improve. Have to show improve. But he's a decent coach. Like he's not a terrible coach. I mean, listen, he was the same coach that had LeBron, and then LeBron took a whole bunch of no-name bums to the finals. So I can't say he's a terrible coach. He's a decent coach. I'm not saying he's a great coach. He's a decent coach. But for me to say that he's going to make them better, that's to be seen.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. So I don't know how you feel about this. I'm an Nets fan, obviously, but I do
Yes,
appreciate New York sports in its entirety. I
yes,
think, and you can stop me. You can stop me anytime. We
sure.
we still got about a couple of minutes left on the show. This is the best year that the Knicks have to make the playoffs.
Sure.
Halliburton, who's a key pivotal role for the Pacers, is going to be out for
Right.
the year. Jason
Sure.
Tatum, who's a key pivotal role, is going to be out for the year. And those are the
Sure.
top two tier teams that you would think the Knicks would have to go to in order to make this strong playoff run. Granted,
Sure.
Atlanta got better,
Yep.
Orlando got better, Detroit's going to be right there. But I think the
Mm-hmm.
way the Knicks roster is constructed, especially with the additions that they made to their bench, which was probably one of their Achilles heel, if not their top Achilles heel, this is the
Right.
best chance that they have at a finals appearance. What are your take? What is your take on that?
I say absolutely right. I think the East is wide open for them. Not to say that the other teams in the East is not good, because there are other teams in the East that's good. But with the Knicks at their level, like with the talent they have, they do have an advantage to actually take over the East and probably make it to at least the minimum Eastern Conference final. Minimum. Because it's just every playoffs, their kryptonite was the Pacers. Now that the Halliburton is out, that's a big blow for the Pacers. Big blow.
Yes, it is.
Now that Halliburton's out, they definitely do have a chance to make it to the Eastern Conference Final. Also, with Tatum being out, they more than definitely have a chance to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Because the Boston Celtics are gonna come back with a chip on their shoulder. They hate
Oh
the
yeah,
Knicks.
oh yeah, for sure,
It's always been a Knicks
for
Boston
sure.
rivalry for the longest. So
Right,
they coming back with a chip on their shoulder. They did not like that loss, but they're missing a key player, and I don't really
absolutely.
think that Brown could do it by himself.
Right.
So yeah, the Knicks. I think the Knicks really have a great chance to at least win the Eastern Conference Championship, at least.
Right. Good stuff.
But we
Listen,
shall see. We shall see.
Tony, I appreciate you calling, man. Thank you for your time and thank you for watching.
Oh
Most importantly,
yes, absolutely. I just want to say one thing before I go.
yes, sir.
Since we're on topic of basketball, did you guys see how skinny Zion Williamson got? I want to ask you a question now before I go. Now, after Zion Williamson, he looks like a crackhead now. He's that skinny, right? He's crackhead skinny, all right? Now, do you think with him losing his weight that he's going to be effective in this NBA season?
I put it like this. I'm so glad that he decided to go to a salad bar instead of McDonald's. Um, I think that the issue with Zion, listen, the raw talent is there. The raw
Right.
talent is there. I don't know if this team has enough to display his raw talent, and I don't know if he's that type of player to take that upper echelon to take this particular roster to where people are expecting him to take. We'll have to see whether his conditioning is going to continue to be an issue. I did see where you were talking about he looks in tremendous shape. He looks in
Yes, he does.
tremendous shape. You
He
know,
does. He
I'm
does.
for one can't call anybody fat boy, but still, he was fat before I was, but now he
Yes.
took over. But
Yes.
again, I've always been big on Zion Williamson. I got a custom made jersey which I got from you a couple of years back of Zion Williamson.
Yes,
I'm a
sir.
big Duke guy, so
Yes,
I
sir.
wish him the best. But again, this is obviously gonna deal with one thing: his dedication, his focus,
Yes.
and most importantly, his health, because he's been decimated with injuries the past couple of years.
That's true.
Yep.
That's true. Yep. So it's proof of us for Zion.
Yes,
So
sir.
we're gonna leave it at that. But I'm gonna let you go and get on to the next callers. Listen, man.
Yep.
Much love to Eddie. Shout out to the whole channel. Shout out to the show. You're doing a great job. Keep it up, brother.
Thank
Love
you
you
so
too.
much, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Cool.
Right.
Bye bye.
In the American League East, the Yankees are tied with the Toronto Blue Jays. Big game going on tonight as far as first place supremacy goes. I didn't think this was coming, so I'm hoping that the Yankees can pull it off. That's why I had to wear my gear. Hopefully, it brings um, some luck with them going into tonight's game. MVP race is heating up. You got Kyle Rayleigh, who's at 60 home runs. 125 RBIs with an OPS of 9.59. You got Aaron Judge, who's not only 50 home runs, but he's fighting for a batting title. So there's a lot on the line to see what goes on, but definitely so much excitement to see whether the Yankees can pull off first place. But that's all the time I have right now. I want to send a shout out to the callers that we got in. It was fun. And I got a little out of hand, I admit, but you know what? I can't help it. I love sports, and I know you guys do too. Thank you guys for showing up, and thank you guys for listening. I'll see you on the next one.
Are we on?
I don't know.